Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My daughter just broke a glass and our babysitter is vacuuming. So if you hear a lot of chaos in the background, my apologies. Who wants to start us off with a win from the week? Lori, I love that talk.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody have some wins they want to share? We're all a bunch of losers.
There one.
Let's hear it, Heather.
So I had a meeting with the League for the Blind and Disabled here in my market, and the reason, I mean, obviously, I'm trying to work on building my BOD and things like that. But with doing research, I mean, like I've told the group before, nobody's really niching in my area. So I went back to my roots, and my degree is in long-term care and human resources and all things senior market, which is perfect. So I started to niche in that and have really been focusing on it since October. I have a seminar coming up this Friday at the Allen County Public Library. The big win for this week, though, was when I met yesterday with the League for the Blind. They have a program that they started 2 years ago. So this is going to be the third year that they're doing it. It is a leadership program. It's about 8 to 10 months long. We meet once a month for about 4 hours, and we are partnered essentially with other high level entrepreneurs or business managers, CEOs, CFOs, things like that. And it's pretty much aligning us in positions with powerful people in our community to educate us, start building those partnerships. And then after this program is done, there's another one that follows, and it kind of just piggybacks on that growth and development for being a leader in the community.
That's awesome.
The lady I got to meet with yesterday, she was so cool. Like, the meeting actually lasted like an hour and a half. I did not expect that at all. And she told me, she was like, I am not supposed to tell you that you got this or not, because there's only room for about 10 people. She said, however, I'm the decision maker because I run this program, and Heather, you are perfect. She said,
Oh my gosh.
you are exactly the candidate we have been looking for this program. And although this is unofficial and I cannot officially say this, you are in the program. So
amazing.
That was my success, girl. I was like, I cried. I was so excited. It's going to align me for a position, not just to be like a leader in the community, but there's so many other professional realtors in my area that don't know about
it's gonna level your business up and level you up as a professional. So that's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah. And it's gonna help everybody in our community, which is fabulous.
The other people, like you said, they have room for about 7. Are they all going to be in real estate, or is it different industries?
Girl, I am the only realtor. They said in the 3 years, the third year, she said there's only been maybe 1 or 2 other realtors that have come through the program, and neither of them that have come through and graduated have continued on and stayed involved with this. And again, it's
what a
only
cool opportunity.
Girl, yes. I'm so excited. Like, it's seriously going to put me in alignment with a lot of people. And I did not know that the League for the Blind was more than just the blind. They have particular departments for the disabled, for children, for the elderly. So just if you guys have a League for the Blind in your area, please reach out to them, because it is very much underserved, and they service just the blind. It's literally the blind, the deaf. They have a program for dementia. Like, you guys, this is a whole untapped potential for us.
That's awesome. And that's a really good point, because we all think of, like, everybody thinks of the senior centric organizations, the Alzheimer's Association, we all do the walks, the Parkinson's, but these associations, these niched I don't even know what you'd call it, like service centric associations. They love when people get involved, and that's a whole different angle than partnering with a community to do seminars. Like it's the same outcome. You're leveling up yourself professionally, you're making interprofessional connections, but I feel like it comes from such a place of service. And like you said, this particular opportunity, for those of you that jumped on a little late, is like a graduation program where Heather will go through like a leadership academy type thing. But that is a really good, not even, I don't even want to call it a lead generation, but it's just a good uh, business development move. So way to go. I think that that is so awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Thanks for the floor to share, because the entire time I was in there, like, obviously, yes, I was like cheerleading for myself, but I was so excited to bring this back to the group because I know that I'm not like a paying member at this time. However, the resources that you guys all collectively, not only as leaders, but the members, like my peers, like you guys have given me so much stuff in just a couple of weeks that I've been with you and been joining the calls, that I had to bring this back because
Yay.
it's very so underserved, and they really do need people. And what was very cool, and I know you guys will be very proud of this as coaches, especially Paul. They didn't even know I was a realtor. I
That is
went my
great.
whole I went my entire hour-long conversation and only like spoke on my real estate experience and how that would be able to benefit this program and in the community, like the last half hour. And it wasn't even like an in-depth half-hour conversation. It was, so Heather, what is it that you do for your career? And I kind of chuckled and I said, well, I said, I'm a realtor. And she's like, are you really? I would have never even thought that that's what you did. I thought you were in service. And I was like, well, real estate is service, but yes, it's sales eccentric. But, again, when you're positioning yourself to be a member in the community and be a pillar and be a leader, it's not based on sales. It's based on servicing those that you are trying to serve. So, yes,
That's
thank you.
awesome. No, that's great. I wasn't gonna I was listening to a Zoom call yesterday through my brokerage, and if you don't, I don't care what brokerage you were at, if you don't follow Sharon Servitza, he is such a good businessman, but he has a podcast called Business School, the Business School podcast. But he did a talk specifically about real estate, and I wasn't going to talk about this on the LFG call this morning because I was multitasking, which is terrible, and so I didn't catch it all. But he was talking about, in a down market, how can we build, not just survive, but how can we thrive in a down market? Because if we're honest, like, we're all exhausted. Yes or yes. And his number one recommendation was either be a part of a community or create a community. And so you're doing exactly that, plugging into a community. And we wonder, like, what does community have to do with anything? And I will tell you that my win for the week, actually the month, is that as a new agent, so I've been in the business 8 years now. I would say for the first 3 years, I did not pour into agent to agent relationships. Well, I had an agent recently in my market who I was not even close friends with, but she watches me on social media. We used to sit in the bullpen together in our office. She reached out to me and asked if I would be willing to adopt her database because she moved to Pensacola, Florida. I recently had been listening to The Golden Handoff, which is a book about this very thing, how realtors can hand their businesses off. And I mentioned it on this call just a couple weeks back. I don't know if anybody was on there, but I said that is a part of my Q4 plan, is to prospect older agents or people that I know might be moving, or that I just maybe in the MLS see that their numbers are down, and ask them to coffee and show them my plan of how we could co-market to their database so that they can make money and sunset out of this crazy industry, and I could build my business in a down market. And so that community piece was huge because Betsy, the agent who I'm now working with, we sat in the bullpen in our office and we had community. So I wanted to bring to this call the idea of getting our butts into community. And that's you all showing up here every day. So like learning from Heather about a little non-traditional way to get involved in your community. It's not the Aging in Place Council. It's not the what the CSA group for your city, but like going to a super specific niche. If somebody in your family has been touched by Parkinson's, get into the Parkinson's community in your area. If your parents suffered from Alzheimer's, you can speak to that. Go get into a community. And that is how we're going to bulletproof our businesses when the market is already wonky. But I see Cindy's hand up. What do you have for us?
Oh, I joined a few minutes late. My apologies. Heather, how did you make that initial connection?
Oh, good question.
You guys are going to love this. And I love to share. So LinkedIn. LinkedIn.
Ah.
I have been, so when I first got my real estate license, it's been about 4 years. One of my first things was break out of just Facebook, like have at least 2 different avenues that you're posting on. I wasn't a big Instagram person, so I was like, well, LinkedIn is a bunch of professionals. It's high level, like it's top of funnel, but it's more middle than top, because if they're looking to me as recruiters or HR, being a former in HR myself, I know that how often they're looking to help relocate. So that's why I went to LinkedIn. I have literally in the last 2 weeks seen my LinkedIn take off. I had a post impression that had over 8,000 in 1 week. I'm not kidding you. So the stuff really works. You just have to be consistent. I have some tips and tricks I could always talk to you about on ChatGPT. But with this particular situation with the League for the Blind, honey, I reached out to her through Facebook. I did some research as far as or on LinkedIn, I'm sorry. I researched her profile on LinkedIn, researched her on all social media, so I could kind of just figure out like what she liked and how to approach her and make it more personable. And then I literally sent her a message and just was inspirational. And hey, I came across your profile on LinkedIn, seen what you've been doing with our community and for the League of the Blind, and was very interested to learn more. And then what I did is I ended up we couldn't connect because she had some situations, schedule was funny. So we ended up doing just a video call. Did the video call, it went amazing. I told her about the things that I was doing, learned more about herself. And what was amazing about this is she was so interested in my seminar that she not only told everybody about it, but she is planning on being there herself because she has a situation with downsizing and aging parents. And then she actually ended up giving me information on this program. And then she referred me to her bosses because her bosses are the ones that I need to get with to start doing seminars because they have a place for me to do the seminars. So just make the call. I'm not a cold caller. I come from selling insurance at one point in time to selling cars, doing collections and repoing cars. Like I've literally had so many different hats that I've wore before I wore real estate and got my college degree. However, if you get out of your comfort zone, it does 2 things for you. Number 1, it's going to surprise you. Whether it's a no or it's a yes, it's going to surprise you because you're getting yourself out of your element and you're surprising yourself, accomplishing something you didn't think you were going to, even if it's small. And number 2, if and when, because it's not just if, it's when you get that yes, you are going to feel so good and have such a confidence boost. You guys, I literally walked out. I got in my car yesterday after that appointment. I called my best friend and I cried because it was like, it was such a win. I don't do cold calls. I'm really bad about doing like my top 5 or top 10 touches in every day. And this was really big. I've been focusing on making new relationships and getting in the community more. And this was a big win for me. So
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. That is amazing and so encouraging for those of us who have like I've heard it be said on this call, and I'm sure we can all resonate. We've tried all the things, nothing's working. So it's just another avenue for us to build community and give back in our communities from an authentic, organic perspective that will undoubtedly grow your business. So congrats on that. Um, Anybody else have anything they want to share? I wanted to circle back to a discussion that we had on our open forum, our hot seat coaching last week, and we were talking about social media. So I'll hit on what Heather just said, LinkedIn. I'm going to give my very quick, most of you have heard this, but just as a refresher, we get on this call and we give all these ideas. And if you're like me, type A implementer, you're like, I have to do all the things. No, you don't have to do all the things. You have to pick one or two that work for you. But if your goal is business to business relationship, like Heather said, LinkedIn is great for finding other professionals. If you really are doubling down on that board of directors theory, then maybe LinkedIn should be something that you are intentional about. But just to give you a very quick refresh of social media platforms, which ones to be on, I'll give you my quick analogy of all the platforms. Yes or yes, shake your head or put it in the chat. Yes, if you've ever been to a wedding shower to celebrate a soon to be bride and groom. Yes. Okay. So when we go to a wedding shower, it's usually hosted by a family member, great aunt. We knock on the door, the great aunt, the host, opens the door. That's the most formal conversation you're having at the whole party. And that equates to LinkedIn. So your LinkedIn post should be educational. They should quote or share journals, articles, research, very high impact, deep content, and that informal. So you're not going to say like LOL on LinkedIn. Then Aunt Betsy walks you into the kitchen, and there's multi-generations gathered around the island for charcuterie. And there might be some kids, adults, your friends, parents. That's Facebook. It's less formal conversation. It spreads the entire generational gap, and you're catching up on old times. Still longer form content, longer form engagement, but less formal and more personable to the person. And then they're like, if you want to drink, go out back, and the coolers are out back, all the cocktail tables stand up around. That's Instagram, the cocktail party. So it's much less deep when it comes to conversation or content. It's quicker, it's fast, it's still valuable, but it's much more rapid pace, like a networking or a cocktail party setting. And then the after party, where everybody goes out to the bar after the shower, is TikTok or Snapchat. I'm not on those platforms because I'm in bed by 9, but you understand what I'm saying as far as when we talk about, because today's masterclass is going to be on marketing strategies, I want to give you that analogy, that framework, so that you don't get into overwhelm and feel like you have to go do all the things. Pair one platform with one lead gen strategy. And if your lead gen strategy is to get more business to business leads, or to focus on adopting other business databases, other agent databases, sundowning or retiring agents databases, then meet them where they are. If they are posting a ton on LinkedIn, then you show up on LinkedIn, feed into what they're putting out there. If they're on Facebook, then get on Facebook. So you have to, the takeaway is you have to know your audience. You have to understand the strategy before you do the activity. And so I just wanted to highlight that, because what Heather is sharing is such gold, and it might not be for everyone. So if you don't do well serving the community, being on a board or an organization from a leadership perspective, then that's not for you. If you do great at high-speed networking where you don't have to go super deep, then maybe just double down on Instagram. But we get the point. Know the strategy and the audience before you burden yourself with all the activity. Any questions about that? And with that, when we were talking about this last week, we brought Corey, and I'm not throwing Corey under the bus. That's what makes our group so great, is that we all have differing perspectives. But Corey mentioned on social media that you should never post polarizing things, that we should be, even keeled. We shouldn't comment on politics. We shouldn't comment on religion. And while I agree with that, on this call I was on yesterday, they talked about how important it is to be yourself. And there's a book that I wrote down that I just ordered. I haven't read it yet, so no, if you order it and you're like, this is terrible, it was just recommended to me. It's called The Courage to Be Disliked. And my big takeaway is that we shouldn't fear being different from everyone. We should actually fear being the exact same. And I thought that was it was a good take home from last week. I wouldn't say we got into a disagreement, but there were a bunch of differing views on what should we post in our marketing as we're building our brand and who we want to serve. What do we put out there? And I think it's totally okay to be disliked by people. We're not going to be for everyone. And the more clear we are on who we are, the more we will attract our ideal client. And so I just wanted to share that book and say that I'm going to dive in and bring back some feedback after I read it. But I just thought that was a good segue from last week, what we were talking about, and wanted to share that in light of our social media marketing, brand building conversation. Geraldine, what do you have?
Hey, this is what I have. Good morning. So, yeah, I was on the call when Corey made that comment, and it resonated with me because I went to a seminar of superpower real estate agents in the city of Chicago a few years ago now, when the mayor was like very unpopular. Lori Lightfoot was very unpopular in Chicago, but I was always defending her because she was doing good things, but people tended to look at the bad things. And so I asked that question about, I'm always making comments defending her, and I know it's turning some people off. And so those agents made this comment: if it's turning people off, then maybe that's not who you want as a client, because your values are so different. And that resonated with me because even now today, when Corey made that comment, I thought about some of the comments I make about the current government and how they're treating people. And so I reflect back to what they said, and if you don't like me defending the underdog in the United States, then maybe you're not the client for me.
And I think that's exactly it. And again, I get what Corey was saying. And if you follow me, you'll know that I don't post much about anything when it comes to politics or ever. I might do like an educational post on how the big, beautiful bill will affect seniors or affect us from a wealth building perspective. But I'm not saying I love our president or I hate our president, because that's not my style. But I do think that it works for some people. And so I just wanted to encourage you that if you are a passionate person, to not be a wet blanket as you build your real estate brand, as long as you are tactful, respectful of all people, and meaningfully different, not just like a brazen a-hole. It will really do your business well because you'll attract the people you want to work with. And so I thought, I don't know, it was festering with me from last week. And then I was on this marketing call just yesterday, and they talked all about the importance of standing out, being different, and not being afraid to like stand up for what you believe in, and then recommended a book, Courage to Be Disliked. So I wanted to bring it back to close the loop for anyone that was feeling like I was after that call.
You know what you said that resonated, Gretchen? I don't
that?
post things attacking people. I post things about the impact of some bill or this or the other on people. So that was a good point, because that's exactly what I do. I'm not attacking anybody, but I am talking about the impact of Medicare, the cuts in Medicaid and Medicare on people. You
I
know,
just try to stay authentically me. As long as I'm not being me and purposefully trying to be hurtful or malicious or, negatively impactful, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. It's shown to be very good for me. I mean, everybody does things their own way, and I think as long as we're just all doing authentic stuff that is authentically us, we will figure out what works and what doesn't work. And if we pay attention to those things, that's how we're gonna be successful.
Yep. Well, this fired me up. I appreciate you sharing, Heather. I told my business coach yesterday, she's kind of like a counselor, which is nice, double whammy, because then I don't have to pay for therapy. But I told her yesterday that I am very much so a pedal to the metal person. I am always go, 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 growth, growth, growth. And for some reason, well, I shouldn't say for some reason, I have not announced here, but I am pregnant again. And so my body is literally like,
Congrats.
that is the, thank you. That is the reason. But thank you. But my give a darn is busted. And I don't feel shame from that. For somebody that is always pedal to the metal, I'm in cruise control and it feels really great. And so we had this whole conversation about giving ourselves grace for the stage of life that we are in. And so if anybody else is feeling a pinch from the market, you're doing all the things and nothing's working, you're showing up on here, good on you, and give yourself some grace because we're living in a weird world where the market is weird. And I truly believe in the power of habit stacking. So just keep going. Don't stop doing what you are doing. All of you that show up regularly, you are moving mountains. And I know that a breakthrough is coming. And I just wanted to share that grace piece with all of you if anybody was feeling this morning. So thank you for showing up. Go forth and be awesome. I will be on here at 10 Central. I got to admit, I didn't make a pretty PowerPoint this time, but I do have 10 senior centric marketing ideas for us. And then our follow-up, I'm doing Friday's class 2. I'm building out how I'm showing you how I walk away with all my content for a week or a month. I think I'm going to do 4 newsletters and then how I break that down into 4 posts for a week and showing you how I build that. So that'll be Friday. Today is just high level ideas and we'll go from there. But everybody have an awesome day. Reach out if you need help and have a good one.
You too.